I'm back. I know you all missed me. Welcome to the Top Tenner Show. I'm Liv, and as always, I'm joined by James, who's been holding down the fort lately.
So, welcome back, first and foremost. Thanks for, making me shoulder the heavy duty. I think the RPG corner, it's been fun, but it's time we dive into spooky season, and what better way for you to come back than for us to talk about our favorite horror games.
Let's do it.
So, when it comes to horror, there's a ton of games out there that you can easily go to. You can do practically any of the Resident Evil franchise, but we wanted our specific ones. And what better way to start this list than with Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem? I know, I spoke about that before in our top 10 GameCube episodes, but hear me out. This game is perfect for horror. This was one of the first times psychological elements were input into the game. The more your sanity meter depleted, the crazier things got. Heck, there were pictures floating around the room, walking around with a decapitated head. It was nuts.
This sanity system that James has been talking about on the other episode for GameCube games, and I think it sounds really interesting, but I haven't had the means to go back and play it. So maybe they should port it to Steam. How about that? And then I could check it out.
I mean, or you can download an emulator and check your sanity.
He got me there.
So this game, it weaves a story throughout multiple decades, basically millennia. And the way it goes back and forth between your time in the mansion solving puzzles to your time in the story is just flawless. And this is the perfect starting point if you want to scare yourself this Halloween.
I'm really considering James's methods here because this does sound like the perfect game to play on Halloween night. Up next, we have Alien Isolation. This was my first survival horror game that I've ever played. Now, this game follows the events of the original Alien film, but I never watched it, so that's on me. But you play as Ellen Ripley's daughter, Amanda. And this game was very terrifying. You are sent to the space station and everything is a disaster. You got the alien, and this thing always knows where you are. And that was terrifying because you can't defend yourself, really. It's a lot of hide and seek, a lot of stealthing, which I'm very, very, very bad at. If you're good at it, maybe you'll have an easier time. But one thing that was worse than the alien was the face hugger. These little scorpion-like things will just launch themselves at you. And if you have terrible aim, this thing will launch right at you onto the screen and hug your face. And that was worse than dealing with the alien, in my opinion.
You think that's bad? Just imagine if this was in full VR. Ooh, boy, you would be curled on the ground in the fetal position every facehugger attack.
I am not strong enough to play this in VR.
So, number 8 on our list is a game that doesn't sound like horror. It's called Doki Doki Literature Club. And the reason why this is on the list is this is the ultimate game for a subversion of expectations. You open up and it's this bright, cheery, lovely little anime-esque setting, and then kind of also a dating sim. So hey, shout out to Liv there. I know she's got this game somewhere in the backlog. But it lulls you into a false sense of security, like, oh, this is great. This is gonna be fun. Oh, this is a little slice of life. And then no, it pulls the rug out from under you. You have psychological horror. It gives you all of the themes in that. You have obsession, manipulation, mental health issues. And then the clever writing of it just leaves you hanging. I'm not going to spoil everything that happens, but if you want the ultimate gotcha from what should not even be there by the look of the game, like, you have to play this.
This was a PlayStation Plus game this month, and I claimed it. And, the cover art for this game is so bubbly, looks so happy, and I've heard that this is a very scary game. And I'll admit, I've downloaded it, and I have it ready to play this Halloween, but really know what to expect. It looks like James explained. It looks like it's going to be so nice, and it's apparently very scary, and that's all I know about it. I'm glad we didn't dive into spoilers because this could be a single game review that we do in the future. It sounds like a Liv game.
You heard it first here. She's shaving her head unless she plays this game by Halloween. So get on it, Liv.
Let's not get crazy. Next up, we have an indie game called Devour, which is a very fun game. Now, this is a game that you could play by yourself, but I recommend playing with your friends. You could get up to 4 people in a party, and you go against an enemy. When this game first was announced and first released, you had to go up against this person named Anna, this big lady who's overly disproportioned, and the whole goal of this game is to stop possessed cultists before they drag you to hell, because they are trying to release this entity. So how do you do that? Well, in the first version of the game, you had stacks of hay, and you would have to lure goats over so you could capture them and then sacrifice them. And as you sacrifice these goats, Anna, or the entity, as this is evolved into multiple maps and other enemies, she gets more and more powerful. Now she tries to knock you down, take you out, but if you got friends, they'll all pick you up. So the game ends by you either sacrificing all of these goats or eggs or whatever. There's many different versions of this now, but I've played the OG version, we'll say. Or you all get knocked out by Anna and it's game over, try again. So there's strategy in this game, there's horror in this game. I think this is a fun indie game that not a lot of people know about.
I mean, the VR mode of this game, I'm assuming, allows you to pet those little friendly goats. You get to look at them in their beautiful little goat eyes and be like, it's okay, big guy, you're gonna be all right. And then you sacrifice them horribly and you feel guilty about it forever and a day.
Yeah, you know, they're not gonna make it too much. They're not gonna make it much longer. Sorry, goats. Or eggs, or whatever version they keep coming out with. It's great. I highly recommend to play with friends, but if you want a challenge, play alone.
Notice she mentioned the goats first. We all know you're a goat sacrificer, Liv. It's okay. You kill goats.
You gotta do what you gotta do to survive.
Number 6 on our list. This is a throwback. It was originally on the PlayStation 1, and it is Clock Tower. Now, normally with horror games, you have your survival elements, you have a little bit of hiding and stealth, you've got some puzzle solving, you're killing the zombies. Clock Tower decided to say, you know what? We're going to give you this really eerie and intense atmosphere and a soundtrack. By the way, if you listen to the soundtrack, it just kind of amps up the experience to an 11. And then you cannot fight in the game. There is no combat. There is no warding off the enemies. Legitimately, you are running from Scissor Man the whole time. You can hide a little bit here and there, but Scissor Man's always going to find you. Like, legit, you can't do anything to him. And that just made this even worse back on the PS1, because back then they did not pull their punches. They were like, if we're going to scare the pants off you, we're going to scare the pants off you.
As I've previously said, I'm terrible at stealth games, so this sounds like it would be a very frustrating experience for me.
And that's not the best part, Liv. The best part is this game, back in the day no less, offered multiple endings based on your choices and your actions that you did throughout the story. Which means if you want to repeatedly get scared and run from Scissor Man to see every little ending that the game decided to give you, you could totally do that and scare yourself silly multiple times.
I do love multiple endings in video games, so maybe I gotta try to be better at stealth so I can play this game.
In the words of Dark Souls players, Liv, get good.
I'm not sure that I can. Next up, we have Dead Space, which was originally released in 2008, but I only played the remake on the PS5. So in this game, many people may know, you play as an engineer named Isaac Clarke, and you are part of a rescue mission on the USG Ishimura that has gone dark. Why is it gone dark? Well, it's crawling with necromorphs, which are scary looking creatures that just don't die. You gotta cut off their limbs. If you can't figure it out, it's all on the walls, basically tells you what to do. You shoot off their limbs and then you step on their head. But the opening of this game was really scary because as a new player, I didn't know what to expect. The sound design in this game really adds to the atmosphere. It is horrifying. But there is a nice break in the action, and you get to play some basketball, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, basketball and horror. Who would have thought LeBron James running from zombies to dunk? I don't know.
Can that be the plot of Space Jam 3 or 2? Did they make a 2?
Wait, you seriously don't know that they made Space Jam 2?
Space Jam 3 Horror Edition.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break the fourth wall here. Liv is a diehard Lakers fan, and she did not know that there was a Space Jam 2 starring LeBron James as the main character. Wow, Liv, you suck as a fan.
It is what it is.
We went from Dead Space to basketball to Liv not knowing about Space Jam. I think that is the real horror today. Number 4 on our list. It's one of the OGs of horror games, and that is Doom. Originally releasing on PC, now you can practically play it everywhere. This is legitimately your Doom guy. You're set up, you've got your shotgun, you're ready, you got to go into this portal, and you're just in hell. Legit killing demons. Straight to the point. And if you look at it back in the day, obviously graphics were not as powerful as they are today, because if you look at Doom of today, you look at the enemies and you're like, holy crap, you need to go back to where you came from. Back then, it was the stuff of nightmares, because us as kids, like, I will wholeheartedly admit, probably shouldn't have played this game at 8 years old, but I did, and I can guarantee you little James had quite a few nightmares because he was an idiot and decided to dive into this game way too early in life.
Yeah, when James put this on our list, I gotta be honest, I didn't really consider Doom to be a horror game. I thought this was more of an action game, but I also didn't play it when I was 8.
I mean, I'm gonna take you down a memory lane, Liv. Picture you're 6, 7 years old, just all happy as can be, and then all of a sudden you see a floating eyeball breathing fire at you, just coming straight at the screen. Like, legit, they made it seem to where it could like get right up on you as best it could back in the day. 7-year-old Liv would have screamed and curled in the fetal position.
I completely agree with you. Entering the top 3 here, we have a fan favorite with Outlast. You play as an investigative journalist who receives an anonymous tip about the inhumane experiments being conducted at the Mount Massive Asylum. Alright, you're a journalist. You can't fight. That's not your job. What do you got? You got a camcorder and batteries to record your experience. And that's pretty scary.
Now, I have to wholeheartedly admit, as I've revealed in a past video, don't know which, so you have to listen to all to see, I'm a photojournalist by trade. So imagine me just la-di-da-di-da, I can't defend myself, got my little camcorder, oh, I'm out of batteries, I'm gonna die. That is what I picture in my brain. Probably not right, but I like my brain's picture.
Have you not played this game?
I mean, have you not commented on my love for JRPGs and you wonder that I have not played this game?
Fair enough. This game is really scary, and there's an extra little bit of scare for me personally. These character models, they show too much. If you know, you know.
I will wholeheartedly admit, as Liv decided to call me out on just now, I have not played this game. But what I like to do with her topics is, if a game I haven't played, I'll go and view it, take a look at it, see if it's, even worth my time, or if I get to rag on her for her weird obsession with like The Last of Us and all of them. She is spot on. You look at these characters, good night. They knew what they were doing here, and they wanted you to feel uncomfortable 12 ways to Sunday and back again.
It is full frontal horror.
All right, number 2. It needs no introduction. Just came out this month, actually, for spooky season. It's the Silent Hill 2 remaster. Yes, I know, I have raved about this quite a bit in previous episodes, but hear me out. The Silent Hill franchise has always been about eeriness, spookiness. Like, yeah, it has some ridiculous elements when you're fighting Pyramid Head and going through like the macabre nurses and everything else. But the way they dialed this up to 11 in the remaster, you legitimately feel like you are in the middle of every room you go. And they expertly utilize sound design to where you step here, you can hear the creak. And say you play with headphones, legitimately they target specific ear to ear to where it's just like, who? Huh? Ooh, what? That level of psychological depth, when it comes to horror games, it's unheard of. Because nowadays, most horror games are, ooh, here's a jump scare. Oh, it's in VR? Ooh, a VR jump scare. That's it. for you to be psychologically affected. I'm gonna give a shout out to one of Liv's franchises here, like Senua's, like Hellblade. Almost said Senua, but yeah, well, she's in Hellblade. Go figure. The Hellblade franchise legitimately brought upon a team of doctors to get into your brain. This game does the same thing without that team. That's why you got to play this.
The realistic graphics combined with the incredible sound design truly make Silent Hill 2 scarier than it ever was before. And I'm excited to check this game out.
Shout out to Horror Game of the Year, Silent Hill 2.
Number 1 on our list this week is one of my favorite horror games of all time, with Until Dawn, which originally launched on the PS4, but a remake, maybe controversial, recently released on the PS5 and PC. If you're unfamiliar with this game, the prologue sets up the rest of the game. So, this is a prank gone wrong. The Washington sisters end up falling off a cliff, and there was a guy that was chasing them. Now, 1 year later, their brother decides it would be a great idea if we just invite everyone that killed my sisters, essentially, back. And he might get a little bit revenge on them. But is he the real threat? Is it that guy that chased them? Or is there something much sinister here on the mountain? Well, this is a choice-based game, which you may know that I love, and all of your actions have consequences. And I like that they show you through the butterfly effect. If you make one choice and then the next consequence happens, it will show you the path, which I really enjoy. This game has punishing QTEs, and the original version had the don't move mechanic. Now, if you move the controller, you're dead. Essentially, that's what it was. In the slightest. It was so punishing that I would put on replays, I would put the controller down, so I can't be blamed for this.
I mean, yeah, that is punishing. And honestly, I have this image of Liv before she figured that out. Like, oh, don't move. Oh, why am I dead? Oh, why am I dead? Oh, why am I dead? Why am I dead? That's my Liv impersonation.
I was mad. I will full-heartedly admit. Now, if you've played the original, I personally, visually, the atmosphere and the filter they used, I prefer that. I think if you play the remake, they took away that blue filter. That really added to the ambiance. Now, it's up to you if you want to play the remake, especially if you're a PC player and that's your only option. I'd recommend it because the story and everything is great. And this gave me nightmares for months. So that's a wrap for our top 10 horror games list. Which game will you be playing this Halloween, James?
I mean, honestly, we're currently living in the ultimate Halloween game that is tech. I'll be playing RPGs.
You are always playing RPGs. Just give it up for Halloween season. I plan on picking up the Silent Hill 2 remake because I never played the original. I think I was a little too young when it came out, and I didn't want to have a Doom experience like James. So I am really looking forward to seeing what it's all about.
I mean, I will gladly pick up other games when you gladly finally stop dunking on JRPGs and play one, Miss I like a narrative, haha.
Why do you sound like Mario? I digress.
Mario, that was Mickey. Whoa.
It's a little too early in the morning to decide what characters you sound like, so let's just put a bow on it. Thank you for watching today's video. What is your favorite horror game of all time? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Top 10er Show for a new video every Friday.
And we gotta say, welcome back, Liv. You took long enough, and because of that, you have to go play Doki Doki Literature Club. Ha-ha!
I definitely want to. It's on my list. I have it downloaded.
Translation, everybody, she's never playing it.
Oh, don't be like that. Come on, man.
Tune in next time to find out if Liv actually played this game before Halloween. I'll let you know. Spoiler alert, I'm predicting no.